Alright, so another little short video here. Somebody was asking me to demonstrate the phase thing a bit more, so I thought I'd just show you. So in this one here I have a bass track, there's a DI, and then there's an amp track. Here's what it sounds like. So it sounds pretty good, but it just doesn't seem quite right. And if you zoom in on it, you can kind of see that the timing isn't exactly perfect on it. And you could probably slip it back and it would be okay. But I find the Inphase plugin just seems to be a little better. So what I've done here is I've taken the bass DI and the bass amp, I've routed them to the same bus, 1 and 2, panned one hard left and one hard right, and that feeds into this stereo aux track here. And then on this, I just add Inphase, which is the Waves plugin I was talking about. Like I said, this thing is 29 bucks, like 99 times out of 100 on their site. So we got to capture it in now. So what you basically do is you decide if you're capturing stereo material or just mono. So I just want it to be a mono mix because these are both going to be pan center anyways. And then you just flick this little capture switch here and just hit play. And you can see it captures quite a bit of it. So at this point, once it's captured, you can kind of start tweaking it. So bass DI is on the top, amp is on the bottom. So I could flip the phase, and you'll notice that the correlation meter changes. So the more blue I get, the more in phase it is, but also the more mono it is. The more orange I get, the more out of phase it is. So just as an example, if I flip the phase, you get way less low end and it kind of gets a bit honky. So it's already pretty good, but I'm going to try adjusting a few things to see if I can make it better. So, like we noticed, the timing between the bass DI and the amp is a bit different. That makes total sense. The bass DI is going right from the guitar into the interface. The amp signal is the guitar going to a DI box, going to an amplifier, which is then powering a speaker, which is pushing air, which is captured by a microphone that goes to a preamp, and then through an interface. So there is a bit of a delay. So you can actually use this slider here to move the DI forwards and backwards in time. So if I move it back in time by basically just dragging this, you can actually see that I can improve the phase relationship between them. There's a certain point where it's going to stop, right about there. So somewhere around 1.45 milliseconds or so will kind of give them a tighter bass thing. So I'm just going to play it now and I'll bypass the plugins. So you can kind of hear the difference. So you can hear there's a lot more fullness and it seems to actually get louder because the bass is a little more in phase. So you have this time slider, you have a basic phase flip tool like you're used to, and then you also have these weird, basically they adjust the phase correlation on the waveform. So this is a little easier to see if you zoom in, but you can actually change the shape of the waveforms by adding different filters to them and doing kind of different stuff. And usually these would be like you're really trying to fix something that's really fucked up. Most of the time you don't need them, and it's just the time adjustment. So once I have the number in place that I want, and in this case it's just sliding it back 1.45 milliseconds, I'll just add the Inphase plugin directly to the DI and then just copy that number across 1.45, and then I can no longer route them to that bus and just go back out my main outs, send them both back to 0 in the pan, and then I can just basically take a listen again. And this tool works on everything. You can use it on kick drums like I kind of showed in those pictures before, bass amps, anything where there's multiple microphones, so guitar amps. Within a drum kit, you can do like the overheads to the kick and snare and stuff, and it does take a bit of time, but it's a really cool system for kind of getting things to line up.